And my prediction, my quick prediction, we're going to make a quick prediction on the numbers and what's going to go on with episode 9, and then we'll get to Warhammer and then we'll be done. But what do you guys think? Do you, over or under, do you think that episode 9 will actually exceed dollars above The Last Jedi?
I was waiting for
Who's
this
going
question.
first?
I was waiting for this
Yeah,
question.
yeah,
You
seriously.
know what? I'm almost bummed you saw Solo, because that when you were first boycotting and the first weekend you didn't see it, I was like, dang. Like after seeing it and being like, it wasn't that good. It's
What were you thinking?
that we need to just get on board for Boycott 9 right now.
So it's harder to boycott 9 than it is Solo.
That's exactly what I'm saying. It's going to be extremely challenging.
But
Yeah.
I don't honestly
I
think
agree.
so.
Yeah.
I honestly think
definitely a
as far
little,
as 9 goes, I liked Solo, but at this particular point in Star Wars, I could really like the excitement's not there. It's just not there.
Okay, so
And it could be the best freaking trailer of all time. But I think at this point, it's not something that I would go, hey, Mom, I need to take you. Oh, hey, Dad, I need to take you. Oh, hey, and go see it 5 times with other people and share my love for it. It's going to be one of those things where, and this has been my big gripe as of late, is I think what they're doing is also killing a lot of the casual viewers who would have gone out and seen Star Wars for the excitement that it was. Anybody who just has a kind of a half interest in Star Wars, as soon as they hear any of this politicalness, as soon as they hear any of that, the interest is gone. The fun is gone.
and it's like people like you and I don't know about you guys, but like my entire family, okay, I have a large family. I am one of 7 children. I have many siblings. They have kids. And if they hear from me that I'm boycotting, or just that I didn't go, or that it sucks, or whatever, they're not gonna rush out to go.
Right.
They kind of live vicariously as a Star Wars fan through me. Kind of. It's like they're like, oh my gosh, you really love Star Wars. They live that through me. So each one of those Star Wars fans that are being alienated, that aren't being treated well, that are being called racist, and they're alone. They aren't alone.
No,
they're not
exactly.
alone. And that's the thing, is that they inspire excitement within other people, like you said, casual people.
There's word of mouth is always the best way to sell.
Yeah.
Disney has got it all wrong. They need to completely focus on their existing customer base.
Yeah.
And if they do that, then they'll get them hyped, and they're going to share and get other people excited, and they're going to expand their demographic, their customer base.
It's like what happened with Marvel, like straight up. I remember I wasn't really a comic book dude, but then like Iron Man came out and then all the Marvel movies and everybody else was hyped for it, and it's like, oh, okay, let's check it out.
Right.
It's like the
But
opposite of what's happening with Star Wars.
But the point that you're making is that you had all these other people who were just like, this is the greatest, blah, and they're tearing
down in Junior is Iron
And then
Man.
Alex was like, oh my God, you're a racist. I can't read that comic.
Yeah, like, oh, okay, come on, like.
Sarcasm, damn
So,
it.
but back to my other thing. Do you think it'll do? Just what do you guys think?
think-
Does anyone think out there? First of all, are you going to boycott? I'm actually heavily considering boycotting, just because after Solo tanked, I literally thought that Lucasfilm was going to be like, holy crap, what is going on? But they really haven't shown that to us. They haven't given us any faith, and so as a result, I'm literally going, you know what? Screw them. I'm thinking about boycotting episode 9. But on a much different thing, do you guys think that episode 9 will actually do better or worse than The Last Jedi? I think it'll do worse.
I actually also think it'll do worse. I believe that it's actually a good thing if we don't go see it, because I really think that Disney needs to get checked.
Yeah.
And at this point, they think that they can do whatever they want with this franchise because they own it. But they are completely missing the point here, that they really need to appeal to their existing devoted fans. And if they're not doing that, they're going to lose it. And we determine whether or not they are successful, not the other way around.
Yeah.
True enough, man. Point. That's solid. And it's one of those things, because I don't think, I was kind of like, boycott when we were first talking Solo.
You guys thought I was nuts.
Is it really that drastic? Has it gotten to that point? Oh my gosh, what am I missing? And I'm still not willing to go to that particular point where I'm going to boycott episode 9, but at this particular point, the excitement is not there, and no matter how much hype and what kind of trailer I see, it's definitely going to be one of those things where I'm going to kick back. I'm probably not going to be there opening night. You know, I'm probably just going to sit back and watch things unfold, and then I'll decide whether I want to check it out or not.
Yeah, that's
But definitely it's not
essentially-
going to be one of those things where I'm going to go running around to the rest of my family and get all crazy about it's the last, it's number 9, it's the last of the trilogy. It's the third part of the freaking 9 parts. I gotta go see it. It's just not going to be that.
Well, but you know what? I think everybody would be like that if Luke was still alive. Like if Luke was, that's the whole thing. Is like if Colin Trevorrow had finished his thing and Luke was still alive, I think everybody would be kind of like, okay, Last Jedi was crazy, it was weird, it threw it for a loop, and I have no idea what the hell's going on. But Luke's still alive, damn it.
Dude, that's,
you know what I mean?
Honestly, I think Disney's gonna do power play. I think if they don't see hype, if Luke is in this last one, I think they'll let it slip, not on purpose.
Interesting.
But it'll be like Mark Hamill confirmed in episode 9, and it'll.
But
that's
then
the only, because I agree. I think that's the only thing that would be people like, okay, I gotta see it. I have to. You know what I mean? Because it would be so like, dude, what? I know if you knew.
Well, but I mean, yeah, honestly, I would be overjoyed. However, at the same time, I'd be like, probably just have him in there for 30 seconds as a Force Ghost. If they put him in a trailer and he's bringing Star Destroyers down, then I might be on board.
Bringing Star Destroyers
I mean,
down.
forgive me. I mean, everybody thinks we want junk food. That's all they
That's
think
what
we
we
want.
want.
But I think there is some. It's okay to throw some Doritos in your salad.
Yeah.
McDonald's
I think
is
it's
bad
a-
for you, but people still eat it.
So
They still eat it.
I wonder though if Luke would even agree to come on board for just being a Force
I
Ghost.
know,
I really
I know.
feel like I hope
Dude.
that he is just as on board as we are
And-
about boycotting this whole thing because they really did him wrong.
That would be really interesting, dude.
I
I would
just had a
love
funny
to hear
thought, too.
to find. I would love to find out if that is something where they. I would die to know if they're actually trying to convince him, and he's like telling him, because I mean,
he would have all the power at this particular point where
Yeah.
they'd have to throw screenplay after screenplay at him to be like, I don't know.
Dude,
Contract.
Nope. Maybe. Nope.
Yeah,
Let's
they're
try
gonna have
this
to
again.
convince him.
Hey,
They're gonna have to
George,
bring
what do
it
you
back
got?
on.
You know?
George,
Nope.
what do
nope.
you got?
But I just had this funny little analogy. You know, you bring up McDonald's, but I was just like, just thinking, can you imagine if Ronald McDonald was out there just telling it, all the people who eat and go to McDonald's just how fat and lazy and diabetic they are, or just like, basically alienating their freaking
Their customers.
obese clientele or the people who eat there 5 times a day and then, because they're trying to get a new demographic of healthier customers to come in and eat their salads. And Luke Skywalker is the Big Mac, and they're like, don't eat the Big Mac because he's the fattest, most sugar-saturated piece of food that we have on this menu, and nobody wants the Big Mac. That thing is depressing. So let's get that thing out of here.
well, it's like a band, right? It's like forgive me the analogy, but it's like U2. In 1993 or whatever it was, or 95, I remember distinctly every single one who liked U2 was like, "Oh, they suck now," and just like, and it's one of those things. We get it, Disney. We get what you're trying to do. We get that you're trying to make it for everybody, but it isn't for everybody. Not everything is for everybody. You can't sit there and make everybody love My Little Pony. You can't sit there and make everybody love, whatever. The point is that this was for Star Wars fans. This was for people who were moved by Star Wars, and now it's for people who aren't moved by Star Wars. It's for random other people who are passing by and saying, "Okay."
That's a pretty cool movie. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Hey, did you see that last My Little Pony episode? Now that was some good stuff, I tell you what.
So, but this just gets us to. So, do you guys? I don't think anybody's answered my question yet. Do you think it will actually do better money wise? We're talking money wise. Do you think over or under The Last Jedi?
Sorry if I answered that in.
Oh, did you?
Well, not yes and no. I think my attitude towards the film would basically say that no. I think
So-
it's going to do a lot worse.
You think a lot worse?
Money-wise?
Like
A
okay.
lot.
So like what's your prediction? Like
Money-wise.
half.
What did Last Jedi make? $2 billion?
Force Awakens was what? What's their total?
936 million.
It's almost $1 billion.
Last
Whoa.
Jedi 620 million.
Wow.
All right, well, so I was
That's
grossly off.
Significantly
less.
less.
So that, and, that,
like
and that's
a third.
and that's what
Like
so many people
30%.
and that's what's
Yeah.
like so many people there is tons of predictions. If you do this, if you subvert expectations, you're going to lose 40% of their audience, and that's what they've done. They've lost 40, not of their audience, but 40% of your profits. I've seen many YouTube videos on this talking about the numbers and how it all lays in. And it's like if you do this,
Yeah,
you
right.
lose 40% of your profit.
Wow,
Check
look
out
at
Rogue,
that
look at Rogue,
Solo.
pull up Rogue.
The Star
and,
Wars.
In the original trilogy, the second film, Empire Strikes Back, is arguably the best film.
Yes,
Most
it is.
people would
It is.
agree.
Yes.
And so, in my opinion, they already messed up where they really needed to shine. So, I mean,
Yeah.
the third film, I mean, I
Almost
think
as
it's
good
going
as
to
Last
tank.
Jedi.
I really think it's going to tank.
So
Yeah,
do you think?
agreed.
So do you guys think that it'll actually do like half as much as the Last Jedi? Maybe 2/3 of the Last Jedi? I mean, just I don't know.
I think it's going to
think
fall. I
two-thirds.
think it's going
Okay.
to fall just a little above Solo.
Man, it is
Okay.
crazy how much more The Force Awakens made, and then it just tapered off.
Well,
Like Force Awakens, 936.
Wait, how much was
Right.
Rogue One compared to The Last Jedi?
Rogue One at 532,
It's not far off, actually.
and
100 million.
Okay, so Last Jedi actually made more interesting. So people are more interested in the continuation of the
of the
original
saga.
trilogy.
Well, because The
saga,
Force
which
Awakens
is-
was good, and look at the sales.
Yeah, The Force
and
But the
then-
fact,
was
if you
pretty
look at
good.
Rogue One, you see that's return viewership. That's people who like were excited about it and saw something new going
Right.
on and
Oh, true.
kept watching it again and again. Which is what you're not seeing with Solo. And I think, I mean, Episode 9 would have to be the most miraculously, savior kind of inducing movie.
Yeah.
and I think
to even
they're giving
get
it back
close
to
those
J.J. Abrams, right?
yeah, it is JJ. So
at least he can continue his vision of the the initial the reboot, right? Like he started it, so
His
he can,
vision was good.
a lot of the stuff that was kind of messed up. Hopefully, he can bring it back. We'll see.
His vision was for Luke to be strong. We all heard it. Like with, we wanted the end of the Force Awakens to have rocks floating around him, Force rocks from him being so strong, and that's why he was in his Jedi attire at the end of the movie. Like,
But-
JJ Luke would have been what we wanted.
but instead Rey gets the floating rocks at the end. Isn't that funny? Isn't that funny?
So dumb.
So ultimately, though, I don't know if I can boycott the last film, especially after hearing your commentary on it. I feel like, I mean, it is the continuity of the whole series, and I'm gonna have to see it just to see if J.J. Abrams brings it back. I'm much less enthused to see films like Solo. I'll probably see it eventually. I'm not straight up boycotting.
Yeah.
But I think that's maybe there will be fans like me who are gonna see it because it's the continuity of the original series, just for that fact, and hopefully
Right,
J.J.
just
can
for-
bring it back.
And I mean, it's supposed to be Boyega said. I mean, it's like the war to end all wars, so to speak. And there's going to be all these elements. There's supposed to be elements from the prequels and the original trilogy and all that, kind of unifying the whole thing. So we get it. And there is a part of me that look forward to it. But yeah, I'm going to boycott the first couple of weekends, at least the first weekend. I'm going to say that I'm going to, and maybe it's not a full boycott. Maybe that's just a, I don't know. What do you? So. But I think that it's going. My personal prediction is I think it's going to. You said it was a little bit more than Solo. Is that what you're saying, Neil? A little bit more.
I think the box office is probably going to fall between what Solo and Rogue One did.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's a cool way of interesting way of.
After talking about it, I kind of feel like it's possible that it could be closer to like 700 million. That's my estimate. Actually,
right.
I think
We're
that it
going
might
number
be a
guesses.
Total?
I like it.
Yeah, I think it could do better than Last Jedi, but I don't think it'll be as good as Force Awakens.
Yeah. I think it's virtually impossible for him to meet the Force Awakens numbers, because that was something. And I remember actually reading about this stuff, how like people at workplaces were like, "Oh my gosh, new Star Wars!" But the reason why all these random people went to go see Force Awakens and why Force Awakens was so popular, guess why, Lucasfilm? It was because of the fans. The fans were so rabid.
They were ready for
and
the
they
Star
were
Wars.
going so crazy
Yeah.
that everybody around them.
That's a good point too.
Everyone
Because
around the fans were going, "Oh my gosh, Star Wars is back. What? I didn't even know that this was even happening.
go see it.
I bet. Well, okay. Look at this guy's really excited. I can't. Okay. I'm on board.
Well,
and everybody was.
And you make a good point in the sense of like I actually knew how many. There was probably 5 or 6 different people that I knew who were like, yeah, my office place rented out this whole theater,
Yeah.
and we're all going down to see it for the day.
I haven't even seen the original trilogy, but I'm gonna go see it
because my boss bought me a ticket.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that boss is, yeah.
And that boss hates the Last Jedi.
Within the box. Of,
and I think that started a
fandom.
huge trend. Like every year for Star Wars, that's what like workplaces would do. They're renting out entire theaters because of this. And I think
Well, did you remember USA Network? Anybody out there remember the USA Network?
I barely do.
So it was one of the early cable channels, and they had a bunch of rewind kind of stuff like the Monkees. It had the Monkees on there, and I would watch when I was a kid.
I remember the Monkees.
I had.
I love the
they
Monkees.
played old Star Trek stuff, and it was just a bunch of random stuff. Kung Fu Theater they had on in the afternoons. Just a bunch of random stuff that I really enjoyed when I was a kid. But what they also did that was really sweet. Every Christmas and every Thanksgiving, they would play the original trilogy.
Oh, that's cool.
On Christmas and
That's
on
cool.
Thanksgiving. So it was like, not only do I get to wake up to presents, I get to watch the trilogy while I'm doing so.
On Christmas.
Yeah.
So the original trilogy was your holiday special.
Yeah,
so to
it
speak.
was.
So okay, so just I think it's going to do. I say personally, I think that episode 9 is going to probably do a third. It's going to be like kind of like in between. It'll be probably.
What's your number?
2/3 of the Last Jedi. I don't know what the
2/3
freaking.
would be-
2/3 of the Last Jedi. So
About
whatever that is.
600 million.
600 million.
Okay. All right, Ben's got a 6.
7.
Yeah, we're going 7. Alex, what do you say?
I believe in you, JJ.
What do you?
Bring it back and just blow
Everybody's
it all
socks
out
off.
the water.
I sure hope he
Blow
does.
it out
What's your
the
number?
water.
What's your
I hope he
number?
does.
I do too.
It beats Force Awakens. I don't know the number, but
So a
You
billion?
think it's gonna-
You think it'll hit a billion?
just over the Force Awakens, so 937.
Wasn't it?
This isn't the Price is Right, Alex.
All right, so if we're going number-wise, I honestly think that, I think a lot of the office places are not going to be buying tickets as rapidly as they did for The Force Awakens, and I think a lot of the big money pool that was coming in for that excitement has tapered off. I'm going to go 500. Well,
Okay.
I'll even lowball it. I'm going to lowball this one. I'm going to go 400 million. That's what I'm going.
What did Solo make again? What was-
182 million.
Yeah.
Okay.
It
It's
tanked.
not over,
So
but
that's-
I mean,
Which was
it-
considered a
it
tank
is.
because it barely
is.
made its money
Right.
back.
Yeah.
And after all the advertising and everything after that, they probably lost money
Yep.
at this particular point.
Well, no, they're saying 80 million. That's what they've lost is 80 million, but some people speculate that it's more like 100 million that they actually lost.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
actual loss.
I really
So-
thought Rogue One did better. I thought Rogue One did better.
Sometimes the quality of the film, it's not reflected
Doesn't
in the
reflect in
audience.
ticket
yeah,
sales.
sometimes,
Yeah.
Well, and I suppose if we include at this particular point any sort of DVD sales, that would be kind of interesting to see how many people went out and actually picked up DVD.
Yeah, and so
Rogue
speaking
One.
of which, the Blu-ray
Blu-ray.
sales of Last Jedi just barely went out.
Yeah.
And it's tanking hard as well. That's
Right.
not selling at all.
Right.
And as it has a kind of a weird kind of funny thing that's happening right now on Rotten Tomatoes. I'm sure you guys all know about this out there in the Tubeverse, but I mean, right now on Rotten Tomatoes, like today, this happened. There's been like a bunch of like suspect reviews, just literally saying it's the greatest movie that they've ever seen for The Last Jedi, and this is happening like there's like 30 or 40 different reviews
Sponsored reviews.
that are
everything.
people that just and they're, of course none of them have a profile picture or anything. It's just some random names, and people suspect that it's bots, whatever. But it's a bunch of things saying just praising it. 5 stars, every single one of them is 5 stars.
Ooh.
Every single one of them is 5
There's
stars.
my T-shirt.
And
What?
The Force is a bot. The Force is a droid.